What is up, double shifters? We're going to talk about Leafs Panthers game 3. And this game starts out very good for the Leafs as they get their first goal just 23 seconds into the game. They had some strong pressure from the jump, and that is exactly the start you want to have on the road against a team like Florida. And only 6 minutes into the game, they would get their second, giving themselves a commanding 2-0 lead early into the first. But in that first period, the Panthers would get a goal. Barkov would get a lucky bounce off of Morgan Riley's stick, and the game would be 2-1 going into the second. Where the Leafs would get a power play on a bad offensive zone penalty, where John Tavares tips a Mitch Marner shot from the point, and they get a lucky bounce off of a Panthers defenseman to score a goal to regain the 2-goal lead. But that wouldn't hold for long because 4 minutes into the period, after a mad scramble in front of the net and a play with a broken stick that definitely should have been a penalty, Sam Reinhart gets credited with a goal to make the game 3-2, and a minute after that, Verhaeghe would get a tap-in to tie the game up. And with about 5 minutes left in the second period, Nosek would get a goal to give the Panthers the first lead of the game in a very Leafs-esque fashion. But this is a different Leafs team after his unlucky own goal. Morgan Riley would get a lucky goal of his own. His shot rebound would go directly off the defenseman and into the net, tying the game back up for the Leafs. But maybe this Leafs team is actually no different, as notable Leafs killer Brad Marchand would get the game-winning goal off of Morgan Riley's stick and win the game to cut the Leafs series lead to 2-1. If it's not clear, I've been trying to cover every single game so far in these playoffs, and I've been doing that for the last 2 weeks-ish straight. Game 2 between Toronto and Florida. Midway through the first period, Florida gets a power play and Barkov snipes a beautiful shot low glove. But later in the period, the Leafs would get a power play of their own and respond with less than 2 minutes to go before the intermission to tie it. But in the second, notable Leafs killer Brad Marchand would score a quick goal just 15 seconds into the period to give the Panthers the lead again. But minutes later, Nylander would score a goal off a not-so-good pass, to be honest, from Max Pacioretty, but he'd pick it up from his feet, kick it to his stick, and snipe it on Bobrovsky. And I just want to say what an amazing playoffs William Nylander is having. I believe he's leading the Leafs in points right now. If he's not, he's definitely leading them in goals. And speaking of getting it done, the officials were not during this game. But after that series of questionable calls, the Leafs would get one more goal at the end of the period to give them the lead going into the third, which wouldn't hold for that long as Lundell would tie it back up for the Panthers, but that tie would last for an even shorter time, as only minutes later, Mitch Marner would score on a fluky snipe from an awkward angle, a shot that Bobrovsky was definitely not expecting. And despite a final push from the Panthers, the lead would hold, the Leafs won 4-3 and take the series lead 2-0. Thanks for watching Double Shift. I'm Joel. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I will see you soon. Bye.